I often will get into a little mini ramble about how the video companies that I do so love that put out really weird, oddball, sometimes really extreme, edgy horror and cult movies will then just like rabbit punch me with the release of something that is totally not their usual MO. And speaking of which, Severin Films, which is known for really strange, edgy, as I say, Euro films and cult movies and horror and sleaze, they just put Overboard out on Blu-ray. 1987's Overboard, directed by Garry Marshall, an MGM theatrical and video release starring Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, with Roddy McDowall and Katherine Helmond and many other people that you would recognize. Ray Combs, who was the first host after Richard Dawson on The Family Feud, appears in this movie as like a hospital security guard. Has lines too. I just didn't expect to see Ray Combs in a movie. Overboard, a movie I somehow had never seen until now. It was very popular in theaters. It was all over cable for a really long time. It was all over home video. It's had multiple video releases. It's been on TV endlessly. Somehow I was Matrix dodging all the time Overboard until now. It just didn't look like it would appeal to me. So I finally watched Overboard. And wouldn't you know, this wildly popular, successful movie is a lot of fun. It's one of those things. I just see these movies that I feel like are not my style. I eventually will watch, and I'll be like, that's why it was incredibly popular and successful. So you have Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell, relatively, I think, early in their relationship. 1987 is when this came out. And she plays this very arrogant, very rich, hoity-toity, highfalutin woman on a yacht that is moored in this area. Kurt Russell is hired to come on as a handyman to fix some things. They don't get along. And a little bit after that interaction, she falls overboard, hits her head, doesn't remember who she is featured on local TV. Hey, do you know this woman? Kurt Russell sees dollar signs in his unethical eyes. He is the father of a brood of kids, single dad, brood of kids. The local Child Protective Services is telling him, you need to have a full-time babysitter or somebody to take care of these kids while you're working all day. They're living in squalor. This is no good. You're going to get in trouble. He figures out a scheme to basically show up and tell everybody that Goldie Hawn is his wife, and basically get a free babysitter and maid. Edward Hermann, who plays her husband in the film, sees an opportunity to be rid of his shrew of a wife and live it up on his yacht with bikini babes. And he says, my wife's missing, but that ain't her. And he scoots off. And basically this film it's a very, very sitcom premise. The idea is that Goldie Hawn it's a very unethical when you look at it with modern, highly analytical and tisk-tisking eyes. But at the time, it was just a fun movie, okay? Kurt Russell basically has a kept woman to take care of his kids, and wouldn't you know it, they develop feelings for each other. I thought it was a lot of fun. Again, modern eyes would look at this and say, he's terrible and it's awful and it's evil and all this. It was a premise. It's since been remade with gender reversal. I have not seen the remake. I didn't care about the original until I watched this Blu-ray. Didn't really care about the remake. I'm now curious to see how the remake handles it. Probably it was a gender reversal to mix things up, but also to make it even remotely acceptable what happens in this movie. Whatever. It was a different time. I enjoyed the movie. It's very funny. If you like Goldie Hawn, you see actually far more of Goldie Hawn than I would expect in a movie ever. That was kind of a shock and surprise. And Kurt Russell is his likable self. Again, if you can get around the premise of what this movie is. Everybody in this is good. The kids are funny, very funny actually. The cast is solid. The director, Garry Marshall, who created Laverne and Shirley and Happy Days and went on to a very, very successful film career. He makes a cameo as a drummer in like a local bar band, which is kind of funny. Great to see Roddy McDowall ever in a film. And it's just lighthearted fun. What can you say? The score is very 1987. That kind of stuck out to me. It's very like Casio keyboardy score, which was amusing. Extras are a trailer and a really interesting like 14, 15-minute interview with the screenwriter the process of what she had done before this, and then what it took to turn the movie from the original script into the final product. This is just fun. This is just a lot of fun, and looks great. Can't imagine it's looked better than it has on the Severin release. And so, strange as it may be to say, I recommend this Severin Films Blu-ray of 1987's Overboard.